not interested.
I'm a big fan of like the PS2 Diablo clones, which would be Champions of Norath, Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, not to be confused with the Baldur's Gate PC games, Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 1 and Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2, which are those are all Diablo clones. I just love that top-down action RPG, you know, fight and loot and explore type of thing. And they don't make those anymore. You know, I mean, Diablo 3 finally came out with one, but they're just pretty uncommon. Certainly good ones are uncommon on console. I just can't bring myself to do it on PC. I just sit all day at a desk, mouse and keyboard. That is not the position I want to continue on in at night. How do you deal with legalism? I feel like I always have to be perfect for God, even though I know salvation is through faith alone. I think that legalism, and I think by legalism, you're maybe, I mean, there are different forms of legalism. I'm assuming the kind you're referring to is gaining favor from God by doing good things. Whether that favor comes in the form of our justification and our rescue from God's judgment, or favor just like God likes me more when I obey Him more. So either one of those types, I'm going to assume is kind of what you're getting at. I think as a result of the fall, we just naturally lean toward that kind of mentality. Consider that I don't think I can name a single spiritual worldview or religion or whatever you want to label it as. I don't think I can name a single one outside of Christianity that is not based on legalism, that is not based on the idea that, you know, in order to get in with God or be on God's good side or whatever, we have to do good things to make up for the bad. That view is like, in some form, what is common to like every other religion, every other worldview, you know? Aside from, you know, like a non-theistic view, like atheism, you know? And I think that the reason for that is our just natural tendency is to try to justify ourselves. So even as believers, and even as a believer, I've been a believer for as long as I can remember, and I am still constantly wanting to justify myself. That's what makes, you know, like I said earlier, some conversations difficult, and criticism difficult, because I in my flesh, in my sin, I take criticism. Initially, my gut reaction is, oh, that's a blow to my worth, because I am just naturally bent toward trying to establish my worth based on what I do. Like Batman said in Batman Begins, it's not who I am inside, but what I do that defines me, right? And he's full of crap. I mean, we shouldn't be taking spiritual advice from a haunted person like Batman anyway. But he's wrong. He is wrong. It is not what we do that defines us. So, like, how do I deal with legalism? Legalism in my own heart, like just in my own mind, how do I process that? I just try to inundate myself with truth. Inundate myself with, okay, what is true? Okay, the Bible has proven to me, every time I try to put it through the ringer and say, well, what if this, what if this, what if this? And for all these reasons, you know, maybe it's not reliable. But then I chase those reasons down, and again and again and again and again, I see that the Bible is, when you really chase down all those doubts, it is absolutely reliable, absolutely trustworthy as God's word to us. And so, when I'm solid in that, then I just say, you know what? I gotta say screw it to what I'm feeling. And I have to remember what's true. Because my feelings are not a good indicator of what's real. I'm broken. You know, I'm dysfunctional in that way. I have to just trust what's true. I'm not gonna beat the whole insecurity / legalism / I'm not gonna beat those tendencies, I don't think. I don't think I'm gonna beat those. Christ is gonna have to rescue me from that when he remakes me. I don't think it's going to happen before then. I think I'm growing a little bit in that as years pass. There are things that don't bother me as much now as they used to. They still bother me, and they shouldn't, but they bother me less. And so that's the concept of I think sanctification, of being increasingly rescued, saved from our sinful tendencies and patterns. So I think there's been some sanctification that God's been doing in me over the years, but that work is not going to be complete until he fully rescues me. So, but in the meantime, the best medicine that I know of to combat those kinds of feelings that legalism can bring about is just truth, and just inundating myself with what's true, and recognizing those feelings as feelings and not reliable indicators of what's real. Oh man, I didn't change the game title. Ah, crap. I'm not very good at this. So yeah, this is coming out in 2017, maybe even early 2017. And I'm so much more excited for this game than I am for Final Fantasy 15. I played the demo for Final Fantasy 15. It was not my thing. You know, John, I don't play online games. And that's largely because I'm an introvert. I describe myself as a strictly hermit gamer. It's very rare that I play games with other people, even cooperative games. I definitely don't like competition. My fragile ego can't take it. Alongside that, I just prefer, well, you know, Colin Moriarty of Kinda Funny, he likes to take games at his own pace and explore them. And I think if I were playing like a multiplayer game, there would be other things that rightfully my teammates would expect me to do. You know, like, okay, hey, we're ready to move on to the next section or whatever, and I'd be like, I'm not. I kind of want to stick around here, you know. So, also because it's a social experience, even though it's online, that's still this is still. I'm sitting here in a room alone, and this is still very much a social experience for me. You know, a lot of people assume that I'm an extrovert because of just the way I come across, and I think that speaks more to my background as an actor than it does to my core personality. And that's not to say that I'm acting and being fake. I just express myself maybe more than other people might normally in terms of their inflection and their gestures and stuff. That's just kind of comes naturally to me, you know. And so I can give off the vibe that like I'm an extrovert, but actually I'm an introvert. And anytime I'm hanging out with people, and even when I'm having a great time, like I'm having a great time right now, but there's always, when I'm doing social things, this little tank in the background that is slowly depleting, and at some point it hits empty or close to empty, and I'm like, I have got to be alone right now, or I'm gonna just really get ticked off. You know? And so there's usually a signal that I set up with my wife when we're doing social things, so that she knows when I'm ready to go. So that would be the main reason that I don't play online games. And then another very significant reason that I've noticed, because I have explored like some MMOs a little bit. I've explored MMOs a little bit, and you know, there'll just be people on there that will just kind of ruin it. I was playing DC Universe Online, which is one of the few MMOs that I've played. I haven't touched it in a long time. But it's the DC Universe, and I'm a big DC fan, so I had to try it, you know, and so I did play it for a while. But I mean, even in that game, where you don't have to even interact with anybody PvP or at all, you don't have to interact, you can just ignore everybody else in that game and just kind of play solo. Unless they block a doorway, and a bunch of jerks got together and decided, we're gonna block this doorway into this key area that is like a teleporter to get from one part of the world to another. You know, and they just all stood there and people couldn't get by them. And I don't know, it took like an hour for mods to get in there and solve the problem, you know? And I'm just like, I would rather play a game that the developers have designed for me to enjoy, and it is impossible for it to be ruined by some little 13-year-old kid who spends his life online, and so his character is super level and can kill everybody, and he'll do that whenever his mom tells him to take the garbage out one too many times. It's just like, I hate the world and taking out the garbage. You die, you die, you die, you die. You know, there's just people that just kind of want to... My free time is precious. I don't have time for that. You know? So I don't even want to expose myself to the possibility of having my my relaxation time spoiled by someone being a jerk. So